I'm Aviva Siegel. I was there for 51 days. But it all started many, many years ago. We had missiles coming from Gaza for more than 20 years. I want everybody to imagine when the missile falls and you know that your daughter or your son or your husband is there and they could be the one that could be killed. Those minutes of waiting and hearing that everybody's okay, nobody was injured, those were the worst minutes, and it happened millions of times. I want you all to just imagine yourself in your safe place with your wife in your bed, sleeping, and everything just happens. Your life turns. You go to hell, you go through hell, and you don't understand what is happening in this world. My son was on the same community in a different house when it happened, and when he told us that he can hear the Arabic from outside, and he's holding his fingers, and then we got disconnected from him. For 51 days, I was sure that my son was killed. When we were taken underneath the ground in Gaza, there was a boy from my community. I know their family. I love them. The Hamas terrorist zip-tied his hands. While we were sitting there, he was full of blood. We were full of blood. And when he came to take it off him with the cutter, he cut his hand with the zip tie. I'll never, ever forget that moment. I wanted to scream while I could see the Hamas terrorist smile when he did that. For 51 days, I was sure that I'm going to die all the time. I was threatened. I was starved. I didn't get enough water. I lost 10 kilos in 51 days. I used to hide food for Keith. I could see Keith. He was losing weight. I just want to say that us, as the hostages, were losing weight. But the terrorists were putting weight on. They were eating in front of us and chewing all the time while they didn't give us anything to eat. They thought it was okay. I don't think so. One of the days, one of the girls went to the bathroom, and when she came back, she was shaking. I knew I wasn't allowed to hug her because we weren't allowed to, but I got up and I gave her a hug. I felt I have to. She's young. And then after a while, she told us that the Hamas terrorist touched her whole body and did whatever he wanted. I was just so proud of her because 5 minutes after that, she was smiling as if nothing happened because she was so scared, because he said to her, if she ever says anything about that, he will kill her. But she told us. I'm a witness of one of the girls that was with us, that the Hamas terrorist took her into the bathroom, told her to get undressed, came into the shower with her, and forced her to do oral sex on her. And she had to smile after that happened too. I'm a witness of one of the girls that was forced to take a shower. She's 16 years old. She's never ever showed anybody her body. The Hamas terrorist just stood there and stared at her and smiled. I remember looking at her while she came out of there. She was shocked. I was shocked. So many minutes of being shocked. But I want to say that the worst times for me as a human being was seeing the way they tortured my husband, Keith, what they did to the girls, and I wasn't even allowed to hug. I wasn't allowed to help. I wasn't allowed to cry. I wasn't allowed to move. But I want to say that I tried so badly to keep myself a human person and love in every way I could. I loved by the way I looked at them in my eyes. When anything happened to them, to Keith, to the girls that I was with, I used to just give them love through my eyes, because that was allowed. We used to lie from 5 o'clock until 9 o'clock the next morning and are told that we're not allowed to move. My body was sore. I just wanted to stretch myself. I wanted to sit. I wanted to scream, just let me sit for 5 minutes. I wasn't allowed to. I was threatened that I would be killed. One of the nights, I was hot. I took my foot out of the blanket, like everybody in the world would do. The Hamas terrorist came and started screaming at me that I'm not allowed to do that. And you know, it sounds like something very small, but that's the amount of control that they had on us all the time. One of the nights, I had diarrhea for most of the time I was there in Gaza, because they gave us dirty water to drink, because they didn't care about us. I needed to go to the bathroom. I was scared to ask to the bathroom. And I want to just remind everybody, I'm 62 years old. I had to ask for permission to go to the bathroom. My stomach was sore. I woke Keith up and I said, Keith, please go and tell him that I need to go desperately. But the Hamas terrorist was so tired, he was just sleeping, and he didn't wake himself up, even though we stood and tried to wake him up. We were scared to touch him because he had the gun just in front of him. I was there in pain and had to wait for him to allow me to go to the bathroom. We weren't allowed to cry. I used to hide myself crying, lie and put my hand on my face and not let them know that I'm crying, because if I did, I was screamed at. I was forced to pray to Allah. And when they forced me to do that, I remember thinking to myself, to which Allah are they praying to? The one that's looking at them the way they're treating us and not giving us any human rights. When I came back after 51 days, I didn't know that I'll ever see my husband again. I was worried for 1 year and 2 months. I didn't know if he was alive or if he was killed, because nobody told me. My family, we were all crying together. My grandson, 5 years old, if anybody spoke about Keith, he used to cry, and he's only 5 years old. So I come from a community that 64 people were murdered. It hit 40 families, lost at least one member of the family. People on the 7th died slowly while they were talking to their families and telling them how much they loved them, and disappeared out of life. When I came back, I heard so many stories, and they're true. They were videoed by Hamas because they were proud of themselves. They played soccer with heads of humans. They cut off breasts of girls and played. One of the boys that were killed on my community was buried without a head. They found the head in Gaza with ice creams. And when I came back with a lady that's 84 years old. Her name is Elma. I massaged her for 4 hours and kept her alive. She's 84. They gave her 2 dates a day. She lost half of her body weight. And I kept her alive. She came back, her temperature was 28 degrees. And the doctor said that if I wouldn't have massaged her and kept her alive, she wouldn't be here. She's still alive. And I'm so happy that I was able to do that. I just want to thank Keith, my husband, for coming back alive. Thank you, everybody, for listening to me.